phenomenal update in the Kulwicki Driver Development Program. I am Lance Allen, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, CBS 58 Sports Director, WDJT, living in the same state as one of our candidates in this phenomenal program. He is a 2022 UW Green Bay graduate, has a business administration major and a minor in marketing, so he's already more educated than I am. And I like to say that he is the 10th KDDP finalist from this fine state, the Badger State, Midwest State of Wisconsin, and he is Bryce Miller. Bryce, welcome once again. It's a pleasure to talk to you once again, and how are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. It feels like a while since we last talked back when I got announced as a finalist. So it's really cool to kind of be in through the first segment of the program and just being a part of this program, like you said, is so cool. And it's an honor to carry on his legacy, being from his home state here.
So update us on your progress and your season so far. I know 4 races, 2 top tens, but a little bit maybe snake bitten as well. So, I always say in racing, anything can happen. And sometimes you learn more from the valleys and the peaks. So maybe explain to all of us that are listening and watching what's happened to you so far this season.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a really good season for learning. Obviously, we knew going into the Joe Shear Classic that this is the toughest race in the summer, I would say. And there's some of the best around the country that are at that race. And we knew it was going to be an uphill battle, and we just didn't really have what we needed that day. And it was good to go back a couple weeks later and go to Jefferson, my home track, and run really good. And I thought we had a top 5 car. It just didn't quite work out the way we thought it would. But it was good to show speed. And then we went to Plover up in central Wisconsin. Golden Sand Speedway. I had a good run there. Never seen the track with our super late model before, so it was good to fire off with speed right away. And then Dells, which was honestly the track we had the most confidence in, hence why we used double points. Just didn't have the day we wanted there, but every single race that we've been a part of this year, we've learned something. So looking to kind of carry that on into segment 2. But as for the off the track stuff, we got to visit a school down in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Kenwood Leadership Academy. We got to visit and talk with the 1st and 4th grade classes there, and it was so cool because a lot of them have never seen a race car before. So just kind of showing them what we do and telling Alan's story, which was really cool. And we visited a local Boy Scout group as well, and just staying really busy. And we also raised money for the Jefferson Fort Atkinson American Legion to Salute the Troops 100 as well.
That you dovetailed into my next question perfectly. Salute the Troops 100 at Jefferson. For those that haven't seen it or experienced it, you and I are familiar with it, but there's probably a lot of people that are watching this or listening to it that have no idea what it is. And it's really cool that people get to enjoy racing, but it's also charitable and honoring some true heroes. Maybe explain what goes truly into that race.
It's such an awesome race, and I think one of the coolest parts before the race, every active and former military member will come down to the track, and as we get to introduced, usually we shake hands with like a Mark Martin and some of the people that we're honoring for that race. But for the Troop 100, every military member comes down to the track, and there'll be 100 of them, and you go down the line and shake everyone's hand and thank them for their service. So we thought, what a great opportunity. My Smoky Hollow Campground, my main sponsor on my Super Late, helped donate American flags. So every fan that was at that track or at that race got an American flag, and we were accepting donations for the American Legion, like I said. So so cool to give back and use the platform of the Kulwicki Driver Development Program and Bryce Miller Motorsports to raise money for them and just get to honor this great country.
And no offense to some of the ones that came before us, Bryce, but you are really good at charitable opportunities. And sometimes drivers were like, hey, my job is to drive the race car, and everything else is kind of comes third, fourth, fifth down the list. But you go out of your way to do charitable things. You mentioned, the school visit, getting out there almost like you're running for mayor, shaking hands, kissing babies, and basically letting kids know, like, hey, once upon a time, I was 11 years old like you, and you can do this if you have the opportunity. What does it mean to you to see that kid at the elementary school, or see that kid come up to you after the race, or see someone come up to you, shake your hand and say, hey man, it was just a pleasure watching you?
It means a lot because, like you said, I was once that kid that was, it would be my dream for someone to bring their race car to my school or my Boy Scout community or anything like that. So, using my platform and the Quickie Driver Development Program, it's pushed us to be that much better. We've done stuff in the past, but it's just gotten bigger and better. And like you said, with the fans, the Quickie Driver Development Program, they see that seven on the side of the car and they're like, oh, I got to go talk to him. So I've been able to meet a lot of cool people, share my story, and just kind of broaden my fan base. So looking to grow on that. In the segment two here. So, really successful first one, just a lot to learn from, and we're going to be bigger and better. And we got some more cool community events that coming up here that we're excited to announce.
You've done really well with the social media stuff. I noticed, I'm a numbers guy because I'm in sports, and it's you either win or you lose, or you got numbers or things like that. You've got more than 1,500 Facebook followers, which for the old people like me, they always tell us in television, people watch our stories as much or more on Facebook than they do on anything else because people can click on it and listen to it and like it. It's almost like a DVR, old school DVR. People can watch it on Facebook. You have more than 300 X followers and then 1,700 on the gram, as the kids say. What social media do you prefer the most? Do you like kind of doing a little bit of everything? And do you actually do your own social media managing?
Yeah, so I'm the only one who actually runs all my social media pages. So the Instagram is kind of more my age. A lot of my friends and people within my generation, I would say, like you said, the gram. So the Facebook ones where I kind of put a lot of my focus. It's really prevalent in the racing community. Everyone that is a race fan is on Facebook. So we've put a lot of focus to that, and I try to be creative with my Facebook posts. I actually, one of my posts that was one of my favorite ones. I bought a 1993 Winston Cup scene magazine that honored Alan Kulwicki. I bought it off Facebook Marketplace for $10, and I woke up one Saturday morning and put a photo of me reading the newspaper, and it was just cool to kind of bring in that other audience. And the one thing I'm going to work on is just more videos. I think people really like to do that stuff, but I just try to be authentic and be myself, and whatever I'm doing, I kind of put on Facebook or Instagram, and it seems to be pretty popular. So just going to keep on growing that, and hopefully by the end of the year we double those numbers that you mentioned before.
I noticed that subtle shade, my friend. People more our age, or your age in the gram. But you do respect your elders. I don't want to make it seem like, what you said was bad or whatever, because a lot of older people are on Facebook. I know my kids are like, yeah, Facebook's for parents and they don't want to be on it or whatever. But you kind of have to be all things to all people, correct?
100%, because you even bring in TikTok. That's a app that hasn't been along very long or for a very long time. So just trying to be creative with that stuff and draw to all audience, as you could say.
Well, I did mention numbers and I mentioned scoreboard and I mentioned a lot of things. So as of this moment, I would like to surprise you and maybe honor you by saying that right now you are the leader in the point standings for the Kulwicki Driver Development Program so far in 2025. You seem pretty stoic. I thought, maybe you'd be jumping up and down. I thought I see a little smile on your face, whatever. What does that mean to be leading the race, so to speak, at this point of the race?
It's pretty crazy to think about. Obviously, we're just so honored to be in this program, but to be leading it is pretty cool, and I'm pretty shocked here, to be honest. So I think we had like you mentioned, we're up and down first segment. So now we're really gonna focus on what we learned from that first segment and carry that on for the rest of the season here. But like any NASCAR race, just because you win segment one doesn't mean you're gonna win the overall. So we're gonna put our nose to the grind and keep going here, and we're going to get more creative as we go, and this is just the beginning for us. And really looking forward to the second half of the season. We got some tracks on our list coming up that we have a lot of notes at, and we're just going to keep on going here and keep our nose to the grind, like I said.
It is like a race. I'm not going to tell you if you're a bumper ahead, a full car length ahead, half a lap ahead. I'm not going to tell you any of that stuff, Bryce. But and I know you're not a trash talker as well. So how much respect do you have for Derek and Seth and Noah, and well as Taylor, that they're still in the race, and obviously you still got a job to do?
100%. They're all so good, and it's so different because we're on opposite sides of the country, so anything could go anyone's way, and just whoever gets hot at the right time, just like any sport, right? You look at the Pacers right now; they got hot at the right time, so that's just like racing. We're just going to keep on growing, and and the hard thing is you can't. I mean, obviously I pay attention to what they do, but I got to focus on what I'm in control of and what I got going on here in the Midwest. And these guys are really good, and they show up every single week. So just when you think you got it figured out, they're going to come back the next week and be that much better. So that's the nice thing about racing is you do got next week. So that's kind of was the focus for this first segment. We had some bad runs and some DNFs that uh, weren't what we wanted. But we had that next week and we got better and we focused on that and just put in a lot of shop work and getting that little bit more that we need to be competing for wins. So really looking forward to it. I know there's a Cedar Rapids race in Hawkeye down Speedway that we ran good and I've won the Czech championship there 2 years ago. So got that one circled and a couple more. So just really looking forward to this rest of the season because here in Wisconsin we don't get to start racing until later in the year. We still have snow flying. So this is when it gets hot and heavy here in the summer.
I just talked to my dad, and of course, he's as much of a race fan as anybody, dirt and asphalt, blacktop, whatever you want to call it. And they just had a whole weekend rain out at the races he wanted to go to. So, like you said, Bryce, you got to make hay while the sun shines, so to speak, my friend. So, yeah, you got to do the most with your opportunities. And then the other thing is, I think there are a lot of people that aren't fully aware of the criteria of this competition, and you graded out well in a lot of things. Effort and work ethic is obviously one of those. Publicity, social media, we already talked about that aspect. The setup and knowledge of your car goes into this. And then we talked about your charitable work as well. So we actually talked a lot about the off-track stuff more than the on-track stuff, but maybe explain to people kind of some things you're either trying to improve or what brings you to the table as far as work ethic and as well as learning more about the setup and knowledge of your car and of a super late model.
It's really tough. Obviously, we're a small family race team, so we don't have access to a wide notebook like these other teams do, and they have a lot of crew chiefs that come to the shop and do the work, and it's just me and my dad in the shop. So we're learning as much as we can. We're newer to the super late model world, so every time we hit the track, we're learning something. So just really being thoughtful with our setups and really taking a lot of notes so that when we do come back there later in the year, when we go back to Madison for the Howie Letto and those kind of places that we struggle with, we unload where we need to unload and have speed right out of the box. So there's so much that goes into this, and there's like racing, obviously, any sport, you got to have a lot go right and a little bit of luck along the way. So, but if we do the shop work and do the stuff that we're in control of, I think we could really have a good second half of the year here, and just looking forward to it. We wait all year for the summer. Now it's finally here, so just got to make the most of it. But along or as well as the off-track stuff, we're gonna keep raising money and getting our awareness out there for all these different local charities that could use our help, and we can use our platform. So just a lot to look forward here as we start segment two.
As well as anybody, there have been more Wisconsin drivers in this program than anybody else, honoring the legacy of Alan Kulwicki. If you had a chance and had a moment to talk to Alan, what would you pick his brain on? And what are some of the things that maybe people my age or the older people have told you that you're like, oh, wow, I just, that blows my mind, or I would love to know more about that.
Yeah, I think the cool thing about Allen is he never limited himself. Like the word never was never in his dictionary. So he believed when people weren't believing him, and that's kind of like what our program is here. We just got to keep on doing it. We're not expected to go to the race and win every single weekend. We're going against the likes of Ty Majeski, Luke Fanhouse, who are running in your Craftsman Truck Series every single weekend, and they have millions and millions of laps, and their notebook is huge. So we're just going to keep on focusing on us and doing what we can do and getting better each week. That's the big thing. So just really, it's cool to be in that category of the other Wisconsin drivers that have went on to win this program. So I've been able to kind of bounce ideas off the other finalists in this program who are from Wisconsin and pick their brain. But just so cool to honor Allen's legacy. Obviously, he has so much. There's so much pride in the Wisconsin fan base here, and just thinking of what he did back in the day of just loading up in a pickup truck and heading south and going NASCAR racing is pretty remarkable. So just kind of taking that mentality and going ahead with our season here.
Final thing is, I like to always end on a fun note, my friend. You race to win. So how do you plan to stay ahead of the pack and win the Kulwicki Driver Development Program title for 2025? And what do you have planned in store to wrap this thing up and just try your best?
There's so much that goes into it. How I'm going to reference this, and I don't know if this is the correct way to reference it, but it's like a race team. You got to have a good driver. You got to have a good setup. You got to have a good car. You got to have a good pit crew, a good spotter. There's so many categories that you have to have right in order to win these races. And just like the Quickie Cup, there's, like you mentioned, there's so many different categories. Your setup knowledge, off the track, community service, volunteering, and then obviously your performance on the track. If we can just do our best in every one of those segments and every one of those categories, I believe we can win this thing. And this is just such a huge confidence boost going throughout the rest of the year. And just really looking forward to continue to work with my team. None of these guys are paid. They're just volunteers, and they've all raced themselves and they all believe in me. So just going to do the most to be competitive in every category. And I think we can do this.
And you're not boasting if you have quiet confidence and back it up. So, Bryce Miller, thank you for joining us today, and good luck the rest of the way on the Kulwicki Driver Development Program.
Appreciate it, Lance. Thank you.
No problem. That's Bryce Miller, and thank you for watching. I'm Lance Allen. Kulwicki Driver Development Program will have updates as they come available, but right now, Bryce is your leader.